Today, I'm gonna be building an insane AI rental rig. It's gonna be a 4090 PC with 128 gigabytes of RAM. Right here, you're looking at all of my AI computers. Each of these is rented out, earning me passive income every single day. So let me show you how to build an AI rig, how much money it makes, and exactly what parts you need. Let's get into how to build a beast AI rig in 2025. So like I mentioned, this is going to be an insane PC. And just to prove it to you, I've got the cost breakdown right here. About $2,000 for this rig, and we'll see how fast it's able to get back that investment. So the powerhouse of the build here is the RTX 4090. This is the MSI edition. A beautiful graphics card. 4090s are basically one of the best AI GPUs you can buy, and I got this one used for $1,400. Up next, probably the second most important part in a AI build, especially on Salad, is DDR4 RAM, and specifically the amount of gigabytes of RAM you have. So this is two 64 gigabyte kits for a total of 128 gigabytes. And if you look really hard, some of those are used, some is on Amazon. You can get 128 gigabytes for $250. And by the way, I will have all of these parts linked down below. Up next, we have a motherboard. This is a pretty budget B550 ASIC board, but the important thing here is that it has 4 RAM slots. This is $100 on Amazon. And this is also a Wi-Fi build, which we won't be using today, but is going to be very handy for when it comes to winter time. If you're just watching my channel for the first time, make sure you subscribe. But in the winter time, I bring all of this tech hardware inside and I heat my whole house with computers. Yeah, you heard me right. I don't turn my heat on and I heat my whole house with computers. So Wi-Fi is going to be very important come winter time. Up next here, we have the CPU cooler. This is pretty simple, $15, one fan on a little 4 heat pipe thing right there. This is Peerless Assassin, great cooler. Up next, we have an EVGA 1000 watt off of eBay. That was $100. Not bad. The only downside here is that we have to use the splitter on the 4090 because this does not have the 12 volt power connector right here that goes directly to the 4090. Other parts here, I have a 2 terabyte NVMe drive. This is certainly overkill. 1 terabyte drive would be fine, and therefore I have this marked as $50. Then we have a CPU. For Salad at least, the CPU does not matter very much. Now other platforms it may matter a lot more, but Salad is all I've been focusing on. 2600, you can get this for $40 on eBay. That will be linked below as well. And lastly, I did include the $10 smart plug. This is perfect to track all of your power of your Salad rigs because they don't use a constant amount of power. When they're running, they use a lot more power than when they're not running. And sometimes they have jobs that use barely any power, and I wouldn't know that without having all of my Salad rigs plugged in to these smart plugs. And you can see even one down there too. I currently have every single AI rig I have plugged into a smart plug, and that's been a very awesome thing to have. So those Govee smart plugs are great. So that's the parts. Let's get into the build after a quick word from our sponsor. I forgot the frame. Every single video I forget at least one part. This frame is about $15, so it puts us at about $19.80. And this frame is what all of these rigs are on here, a nice little open air test bench frame. Basically the most robust $15 frame that you can get, and super easy to work with. So I like using these a lot, as you can tell. All right, now let's run the sponsor and get into it. Are you tired of your current mining pool offering pretty underwhelming tools and high fees? Well, today I'm here to talk to you about emcd.io, the sponsor of today's video, and how to make the switch and why you might want to. EMCD has a couple key benefits that put it ahead of other pools. They offer an extremely competitive 1.5% base fee. They also offer human support 24/7, so you can get any issue you have quickly handled, which is huge. EMCD has an all-in-one ecosystem that includes a staking platform as well as a built-in wallet platform. Pretty cool to have it all in one place. place. The biggest benefit that you'll receive with mining through emcd.io is the ability to merge mine. And not only can you merge mine Dogecoin, but you can also merge mine Bitcoin, which is massive. You can mine Bitcoin and any other merge mineable coin at the same time, fractal Bitcoin being the big one. EMCD will also auto-optimize for the maximum amount of profits for your set amount of hash rate. Why not get the best bang for your buck? So if you think you're ready to try it out, I'm going to leave 2 links down below. The first one is a 20% discount on commissions for the first 30 days for new users. And the other is a special link for those miners who have over 5 petahash in Bitcoin hash rate. Click that one, and emcd.io is going to give you some special offers that even I don't know what they are. So check them out, guys, and let's get back to the main video. Today's video is sponsored by Crypto Miner Bros, a reliable and highly trusted ASIC miner reseller. There are a couple huge benefits to buying from Crypto Miner Bros. The first is that the price on their website is the all-in price shipped to your door, no hidden fees. The second is that they have a massive selection of all the popular miners. My current favorite miner is the DG Home 1, which I got from Crypto Miner Bros. Don't forget to use code MODERN for $70 off each item regardless of price. Purchasing ASIC miners can be risky with tons of scams going around. Why not make it easy with Crypto Miner Bros? Check them out today with the link down below. Well, guys, I honestly wasn't planning on getting another 4090. At least that's what I tell myself and I told my wife. But this $1,400 deal was just way too good to pass up. So the guy I bought it from, super nice guy. He had just gotten, I think, a 5090, and his goal was basically to make half of the money back on that, which was an interesting goal. But I was very happy for him. He knew he was underselling it, but he just wanted to be a nice guy. And I told him after I had just gotten scammed on that 3090 that it was a great refresher to see that there's still some nice people out there. He gave me a good deal, and I was super happy for that. One thing I want to know, how many of you guys are running AI rigs right now? And if you are, how many are you running? I've made quite a few Salad AI videos at this point, and to me at least, it seems like the engagement's up, the views are up, the comments are up. I've had more people sending me emails. We've had more people joining the Modern Mining Discord asking questions. And by the way, if you're not a Discord member already, it's totally free. Check out the link in the description. Definitely join up. So you're not normally supposed to have to push in a CPU here. This one is like a little misaligned or something. It works fine, but generally be very careful about actually pushing the CPU, and that would normally indicate that you've got it backwards. In this case, though, it ended up being totally fine, so that was good. This rig, like I mentioned, is going to be an absolute powerhouse. We've got the 4090 GPU paired with 128 gigabytes of RAM. Very excited. This is going to be the best PC in my entire house, my best AI PC, and then even better than like the gaming / editing PC that I'm recording this on right now. It's going to be my best PC in my house. So worst case, I end up putting this in my case up here, and then I've got a 4090 with 128 gigabytes of RAM. But I'm pretty hopeful with Salad. It seems like the demand is staying constant despite a lot more people adding hardware, and they also just put out a tweet today requesting a bunch more GPUs, like 250 more 4090s. So I'm hopeful that this one finds a job almost immediately once we get it complete. And that's just a good sign, because with crypto mining, it was like as soon as there was a good coin, everyone hopped on it and it was gone. Well, it seems like Salad, their demand from their end customer is keeping up with the demand of, or with the supply of people running more and more Salad rigs, because at least in the last 2 months, it has not gotten worse the more and more people have used it. Now, I know historically there's been some pretty bad months where there's no jobs, but I have not experienced that since I started getting into it big time, kind of over the last about 2 months at this point. Now, this is the most money that I have thrown at hardware in a long time, or at least the speed of it. So probably I have not invested this much money into hardware since probably the Ethereum GPU mining days, where I just started buying as many graphics cards as possible. And I am generally a risk adverse person. And so if you want to know why I'm throwing so much money into AI, definitely stay towards the end. But I actually look at it as a pretty risk-free investment, assuming you have decent residential power rates. If you have crazy expensive power, then maybe not so risk-free. But there's a reason I'm putting a lot of money into it, and I explain it pretty well at the end of this video. this will probably be the last 4090 I buy, but I might end up eating my own words here. If I see another one for 1400, it's probably going to be hard to pass up. Jumping back into the build, I am installing the M.2 drive here. These ASIC boards are a bit strange that you have to actually manually screw on the standoff that the screw goes into. A bit annoying, but all that does come in the bag, so not too big of a headache here. This is that 1000 watt PSU that I got off of eBay. Not a horrible deal, 1000 watts for $100. A lot of people have a ton of these EVGA PSUs left over from the mining days. They'll have like the 1000 or the 1200s. I really wish I had kept more of those because honestly, a 1000 watt PSU is hard to go wrong. So here's the completed build. Let's finish setting this thing up. All right, guys, hope you liked the build montage. I made it a little quicker this time around. You guys have seen me build a lot of these by now, and if you haven't, I will have a playlist to kind of all my AI builds and my crypto mining builds too. So if you're interested in more of those build videos, I do have a lot of them at this point. We're getting close to the end here. One last thing I wanted to do is plug in this little 4-thing splitter here. So one thing you need to be careful with on this is that you need to make sure it is fully inserted in, or you could burn out the sockets. I'm sure you guys have heard a lot of people had trouble with their 4090 sockets burning. And a lot of that was from either the cable being stressed, like very hard angle, or not being fully inserted. So I want to take special care to make sure every single connection on here is done well. And I also want to make sure that I'm plugging in 4 separate strands into this. I don't want to use like 2 strands with 2 plugs in each one. I'm going to do 4 totally independent strands. Now, to be honest, our 4090 shouldn't be pulling that many watts. At least I haven't really noticed it has been in my salad rigs, but you never know in the future, and you always just want to build it correctly the first time around. So there we go. These are all 4 plugged in now. I'll have to do some cable management, but now I want to do this in a way that is not putting a lot of pressure on this connector here. So, and it does take a lot of force to really get it in there correctly. So I can see why people maybe didn't plug it in right the first time around. So this is all sagging, kind of putting a lot of pressure on this exactly how I don't want. So when I bind all these cables, I'm going to bind them in a way that this is nice and free floating up here. But first, let's get our GPU screwed in here so that it is nice and secure. So I always leave myself a little screw there. And this actually has 2 screw holes, but 1 should be plenty sufficient here. Yeah, that's not going anywhere now. And so basically our last step here before we turn it on is to do some cable managing. But honestly, let's make sure it works first. I've had some bad luck with rigs lately. So before I cable manage all this, let's just see if it works. Let's plug it in. So pretty easy here. The only cables we need is a power supply cable, an HDMI cable to the motherboard, and we'll go ahead and plug in our Ethernet cable too. And while I'm at it, I will go ahead and install my Windows 11 bootable USB drive. So we can get started with that process if it works. There's that. Ethernet. As we'll go ahead and plug in our mouse dongle here. And our HDMI. And keyboard too while we're at it. A lot of people were asking for the link for this keyboard in the last video, so I will leave this down below as well. Just honestly some very budget Amazon keyboard, but it does sound pretty good. All right, fingers crossed. And as a reminder too, this CPU is one that I thought didn't work, but it ended up being a motherboard issue. So I'm not gonna jinx it anymore. I do need to plug in a power cable. There we go. All right, boom, and boom. Now if this starts to shine in a second, then we will know we posted. I don't think that, yeah, from here, if it shines, then we know we posted. CPU fan appears to be spinning. Everything looks good. It's just a matter of, will this turn RGB here in a second. There we go. Let's go. We got a post, so we should be booting right up into the BIOS here shortly. Love to see it. I've had a lot of bad luck with hardware lately. There we go. We've got all of our RAM sticks showing up. I'm not going to enable XMP because I really haven't noticed a difference between doing it and not, besides you get better stability not doing it. Someone let me know though. Maybe there's someone who's better at salad than I am. Should you be overclocking your RAM? I haven't been. NVMe drive showing up, USB drive is showing up, everything appears to be good to go. So let's go ahead and the one setting we want to change in here, or two settings, we want to enable CPU virtualization. I'll show you where that is. And then we want to enable it so that when we flip that power switch, it automatically turns the rig on and off. We do not have to use the power button, just for simplicity's sake. So I'll show you where to find those settings. So right off the bat here, if you hit F7, guys, it's going to take you to the advanced menu. If you go to advanced and then you go into CPU configuration, then right down here, SVM mode, we want to enable this. This is going to allow you to run the Linux container jobs, which is where all the money's at. And then the other command, I believe, is under APM configuration, restore AC power loss. This needs to be power on. And then we'll hit F10. Save those settings, and it should boot into the USB drive, hopefully. And actually, now that I think about it, I may just boot straight into this drive, the NVMe drive, because I actually already have Windows installed on it. I tried to clone my laptop. Yeah, shit, so I'm gonna have to wipe that, because I tried to put that in my laptop and it didn't end up working. So it actually does have a different drive in there. I actually can probably figure out this key here. So one second, I'm gonna go look at my laptop. Guys, so the funny thing is I did have that BitLocker key, but it for some reason still wouldn't work. So I should probably install it fresh anyway. I just need to delete all these partitions in here for the old kind of clone drive, which is fine. So I'm just gonna delete all of those. And then once all of those are deleted, I will hit refresh here and it should show as one drive. And then I'll use that one as the one that I want to put Salad on and do a fresh Windows 11 install. Now, if you don't know how to boot to the USB drive, you have to go into the boot options of the BIOS and rearrange the order so that the USB is the first thing, so it tries to boot the USB first before it tries to boot the NVMe drive. So that's how it works. And this looks like it's going to be set up. So while that's doing its thing, let's screw our power supply in here and do some cable management. Probably not recommended to do it while it's on, but we can be gentle. That kit does come with 2 screws to screw the power supply in, so that's always very nice to get that nice and secure in there. For some reason, I always have trouble with this bottom right screw here. And I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but it seems like Windows 11 takes like 10 times the amount of time to install as Windows 10. Like, it's taken me forever to get this installed on all these rigs. And I also tried to upgrade some of my rigs the other day to switch from 10 to 11, and it wouldn't let me do it because of the secure boot settings. And to be honest, I don't know a ton about secure boot, so I didn't want to go around messing with that stuff, so I just kind of gave up for now on upgrading some of the existing ones to Windows 11. So like I mentioned, I wanted to get this somehow propped so these are like up in the air like this. So let's see what I can manage to do here. Maybe using this thick cable as some sort of way to hold all the others up. Something like that is probably fine. So I'm gonna grab my little tape here. And we'll get one more piece down here to kind of clean this up. Okay. That makes it so that there's not a ton of pressure on these right here and is relatively contained. So these are a bit kind of sticking up, but that's fine. It is functional and it's going to protect my 4090. Well, I spoke too damn soon about everything going issue free. I don't understand why this is doing this. If I go back here, no internet, pop this in, pop this out. Well, it was saying connected, but even when it's saying connected, there we go, network connected. Now when I try to move forward, it's going to tell me my internet's not working. It's a dang brand new motherboard, so I'm going to try to plug that Ethernet into a switch and then another cable into the board and see if that works. But certainly frustrating, and I don't have a USB to Ethernet adapter because I always use it on this rig right here. This one's Ethernet port doesn't work either. guess I didn't realize how common an issue is. But hey, maybe now that I'm on camera, nope, there we go. So let me try this switch method. And for some reason on Windows 11, you can't get through without internet, which is pretty annoying. So let me try that. Still no luck, so I guess I'm gonna install that Wi-Fi antenna. Luckily I got the Wi-Fi board, and hopefully that will work. Let's see what we're looking at here. Two little RF jacks. I'm guessing it doesn't matter which one goes into which. Hopefully you can even connect to wireless network on the login screen. I've never actually tried that. Alright, I'm just going to go ahead and restart this thing now. I needed to run this through before I put those in, unfortunately. Oh well, maybe once I get this in and hooked up, maybe it's just a driver or something. Let's go, ChatGPT to the rescue. I had to press Shift F10 to pull up a command prompt and then paste in some command that let me, I think, bypass it. We'll see if this works. I'm hoping I just need to download like a network driver or something, but the antenna wasn't even working at the intro. So come on, let's see if this got me through. Yep, that worked. It gave me a I don't have internet box, so that worked perfectly. Quick side note, guys, but if you're not using like ChatGPT and AI chatbots like on a day-to-day basis, you're gonna fall behind. I am decent with computers, but there's obviously stuff that I don't know, and you all obviously know a lot more than me in a lot of cases. But like just like that, I would have never been able to find that as easy as I did than just taking a picture of it, sending it to GPT, and it immediately told me how to do it. So even in your day-to-day life, I use it a lot for work. I recommend kind of exploring it because it is just a way to not even make you smarter, but just help you utilize tools that make you seem smarter. So always trying to get that edge. And with that, we are into Windows. So I'm going to mess around with the, hopefully the Ethernet just works now. If not, I'll get it hooked up to Wi-Fi until I can get a little adapter to USB. I already got one ordered off Amazon. But I'm going to now go ahead and set up Salad on here, guys. I'm not going to show all the setup in this video. I have a ton of different videos. I'll leave my AI content playlist up at the top that has a ton of those in it. So next steps, get Salad installed. We'll put remote desktop on it. We'll move it over to our shelf, and then hopefully we will get it running. And then in a day or so, or 2 days, I will hop on and hopefully we have a job and we can look at what the profits are going to be like and compare it to maybe this 4090 and see if the 128 gigabytes of RAM made a huge difference or not. Now I know it is over time, but I don't know if I'm going to get one of those insane jobs within the next 2 days because I'm hoping to post this video by the weekend. So let me get that set up and then we'll move it on our shelf, and then soon I'm going to need to put another shelf over these rigs so we can get 3 full rigs of AI rigs for 9 of them plus 10 down there, and then that will probably be my stopping point for a while unless I keep finding these crazy 4090 deals, and then I may just keep buying them. So all right, let me dig through here and I'll get everything set up. I mean, do I have to turn on the internet or not? I'm not even seeing that like I can connect to that, but let's just see if this works. All right, about an hour later here, I'm still dealing with this damn board. I would just return it and get a new one, but one, I want to get this up and running, and two, I already returned 2 last week, the Gigabyte one and a different one, so I don't want Amazon to get pissed that I'm returning so many, but hell, 2 out of the 3 have not worked. Now I'm going to try to just update the BIOS here, so hopefully this works. I've got the BIOS file on there. And let's see if this fixes it. I mean, it seems like this should probably work. All right, not to derail this video too much, but I went and got the LAN drivers of this board off online, and I'm installing them right now, and it does look like maybe I have a connection now. Man, what an absolute nightmare. I've had just such bad luck with motherboards and honestly all components over the past month. But okay, quick test. Does it work now? Hey, it looks to be fixed. I don't understand why the BIOS wouldn't have fixed that, but maybe it had something to do with me not having the Wi-Fi enabled when I set up Windows. But can I also do the Wi-Fi right now? I still don't see the Wi-Fi, so I also have a Wi-Fi driver in here. I'm just going to go ahead and install that one too. Wi-Fi, and I did I think the only option here is the ASIC setup. So if you guys have the same issue, that's what I did, and it appears to have finally fixed it. Working on the final step here, getting the NVIDIA drivers installed, and perfect timing because this 4090, it's not spinning, but it just got one of those mega jobs where it uses basically no power but still generates about a quarter an hour. And you can see here we're using about 13 gigs of RAM, so certainly that's not utilizing the 96 that it has, using basically no GPU and no CPU, and it's not even really using much Ethernet either, so it's not like it's doing bandwidth sharing. So I really don't know what's happening when it's doing these crazy jobs that make really good money and no power, but hey, I am not going to complain. Everything has a job right now, by the way, besides this 3070 has been sitting for a long time. I may look and see what's going on with this one, but this is almost finished. First things first, we will get that hooked up, get it looking for a job, and Salad does need a bunch of 4090s right now, guys. So by the way, my sign up link for Salad will be down below. Use my code. It doesn't get me any direct money or anything like that, but it does help them know that I sent people over their way. So if you can, try to use my link. It's definitely helpful. They need a bunch of GPUs right now. I think it's like 750 different total GPUs, and at least 250 of those is 4090s, which is great news because a lot of people have been making salad rigs, and it seems like the demand is still there. So hopefully that keeps up where the demand just keeps growing and growing and growing, and maybe even that means they eventually start, the companies start paying more for the compute if there's so much demand for it. So that would be pretty sweet. Okay, real quickly, for those who have never done Salad before, I'll show you how to hook up. So it looks like I actually have 131 gigs of RAM, so Salad is saying that's very good. 4090 is in high demand. I should be making between 18 and 13 cents an hour. Keep in mind, Salad does also have a 10% fee, so it's slightly lower than that. I like to do configure workload types manually. Video streaming, I used to turn this off, but I've been trying it on. If you run into Netflix or Hulu issues, like you can't watch it on even just your TV on your network, then this is probably the cause. But I haven't had that issue yet this time around. We'll keep adult content on. So go back down here. We want to go to performance, configure hardware, and then CPU enabled, GPU enabled, maximum storage, set this to the max. Configure workloads manually, video streaming, adult content, we went over that. Advanced options, I like to disable this right here, and crypto mining should be disabled as well. Now from here, you should be good to go. And this is showing 4 out of 5, and if I chop for 50 hours, then I get Star Chef status. So let's unplug this, set it on the shelf, and there's one more secret little thing I'm going to do. Already got a power cable over here and a LAN cable as well. Just want to make sure I'm not crushing anything over here. Okay, now my secret trick is a HDMI dummy plug. From what I've seen in the past, at least for like CPU mining rigs, and I think I've seen it on salad rigs too, if you trick your GPU into thinking it's displaying with one of these little dummy plugs, and I'll give you a close-up view here. So if you stick one of those in, your GPU basically thinks it's displaying, and why am I having to hit the power button here? Oh, my smart outlet's not turned on. There we go. Now this should turn on automatically. And see, now this has a blue light. So this is tricking the GPU into thinking it's displaying to a monitor, even though we're only going to remote into this one to control it. And that is nice because I don't have any more ports in my switch. So a lot of these GPUs are actually using HDMI cords. A couple of them are using the dummy plugs. I haven't verified that this is working yet, but these things are like $3 to $5 each. I'll have links for them too, and it just helps you save a little power, so that's why I have them plugged in. So let's take a look at this shelf now. A bit uneven looking. I do have a huge 3070 that I think I'm just going to go ahead and throw on there to make that look a lot better, because that card's just too small compared to the other ones. But first things first, let me remote into this. I'll just do it on my phone and get Salad up and running, so hopefully we find a job nice and quick and can get some accurate profit calculations tomorrow. All right, she is up and running, guys. Excited to see how that works with the 128 gigabytes of RAM. And this is the biggest 3070 you ever saw, and that's what I'm going to install on that rig right there, just so it fits the theme here and looks a lot cooler with all the other AI rigs. So we'll do that real quick, and then we'll get to the profits tomorrow. Now, I certainly would not have done this if this had a job, but it didn't, so who cares? And this just started spinning, so I'll check that, but that would be badass if that already found a job. Almost too big there, but that looks so much better. Okay, plug back in our HDMI. All right, I'm gonna check on my phone. Ooh, I forgot it's got some lights too. I'm gonna check my phone and see if this has a job, and it's kind of interesting that this one doesn't have any lights. I wonder if I need to get like Mystic Light, or I think that's the name of the MSI one, to get some lights here. I wouldn't mind something casual. All the other ones basically have lights besides this one. Man, that is a sight to behold. Two 3090s, two 4090s, a 3070, two 3070s, and a 3080 down there. All right, this one's back up and chopping again. Let's hop in the computer real quick and check if this has a job together, and then we'll look at the profits. I know I keep saying it. All right, so great news. It looks like we already have a job. It's this rig right here that just got added, and you can see that is the green line right here, and it is coming off the ground. So hopefully we hold that job. And like I mentioned, our pink 4090 is also getting one of those beast jobs. So hopefully that holds as well. A lot of people have been asking me, how do you name your rigs right here? It is a Chrome extension called Salad Machine Renamer. And then you can go in here and add machine and type in the machine ID. So in this case, C7B F6, and then name your rig, and it will have it named in there. Salad really needs to add this. This is a very key feature that is missing, especially once you get to having a lot of rigs. It sucks when I look on my phone and don't have this feature. It's very confusing. So there we go. It is added. Now I'm up to 7 Salad rigs, and hopefully they can all 7 get a job and start printing some serious money. So I will see you guys in a few days. Don't leave yet. Let's see what the profits look like. All right, guys, it's been about 24 hours. Unfortunately, I had an internet crash during this little test right here, and I wish I could do it longer, but I'm really trying to get this video out on the weekend. Good news is I have already had a 4090 in the past, so we can kind of go off of those numbers, but we will still look at what we've seen so far. So the light blue line here is our new 4090 rig. I'll just go to that one for right now. At around 11 p.m. last night, I lost internet for like 5 minutes. That would be one of my biggest things that Salad needs to fix, is like a 5-minute internet outage should not make you lose every single job. That's incredibly frustrating, and it's happened to me twice in the last week, which isn't normal, but still 5 minutes, you shouldn't lose all your jobs. That's just very frustrating. We were on very good jobs before the internet crashed. My previous 4090 was making about 26 cents per hour, and my new one was making 21 cents per hour. Just different jobs. Some containers are better than others, and I'm hoping with 128 gigs that I find some that are even better than the 26 cents per hour. But right now, which is what we'll use, we're at about 14.3 cents per hour. And using my Govee smart plug, we are using 0.2488 kilowatt hours. So let me pull up a calculator here And we will do some quick math here. So 2488 kilowatt hours times 11 cents per kilowatt hour means we're spending 2.7 cents per hour. Like I said, we are generating 14.3 cents. So 0.143 minus this number. We are profiting 11.5 cents per hour times 24 cents. We're profiting about $2.77 a day. So let's quickly test our ROI with that number. So $2,000 divided by 2.77 is 722 days, so 2 years. That's pretty long, and I expect it to be a lot shorter than that. Let's do it real quick with the 214 number right here and also with the 256 number. We'll use the same power cost there, though this pink job actually uses much less power than that. And unfortunately, my Govee plug is not letting me go back to monitor this certain time right here. So if we go with this job right here, the light blue line, the 21 cents per hour, we were profiting $4.50 per day, which certainly makes our ROI look a lot better here. A little bit over a year for a 4090 rig is not bad at all. And then lastly, we'll quickly test with the 25 cent. Now keep in mind, this is assuming you have jobs all the time. And Salad does take a 10% fee, so it's probably a little longer than these numbers. But once my internet's not crashing, I am finding jobs almost immediately and do tend to hold them until I accidentally turn off a rig or something like that. And yes, I have done that before. So last one right here, 0.256 minus 0.027, times that by 24 hours a day. And then $2,000 divided by 5.5 is basically exactly 1 year for ROI, as long as we hold the good job for a year. And hopefully this rig can even get better since it's got more RAM. Now, some people might say that's a long time, but let me pitch it to you this way. And this is the reason I'm investing so much into Salad and why I think it's probably one of the safer ways to get into kind of passive income with computer hardware. I'm purposely buying these GPUs very, very cheap, and I'm buying good hardware that I could potentially resell for a gaming PC. So I bought that 4090 for $1,400. I could probably go back on Facebook and flip it for $1,800 if I wanted to. And if I threw it in a case and maybe upgrade the CPU a little bit, I could sell it for like a $3,000 gaming PC. So in my mind, I have already made money on these parts. I'm basically starting from zero investment because at any time I could just sell this stuff and break even. So any profit I make on a day-to-day basis is already profit. I'm not trying to pay off the rig because the rig in my mind is already paid off. And that is only true for cards that are going to hold up their value. Certainly 4090s are going to be worth a lot of money for a long, long time to come with the AI boom. Stuff like 3070s, I mean, heck, they still are selling for like $250. And a year and a half ago, I was buying them for $250. So even those really aren't losing that much. And when you bundle it on a gaming PC, you do get to charge a bit of a premium on it. So overall, it's a pretty safe investment in my opinion. And as long as Sal continues getting jobs, I'm excited to kind of keep expanding my farm and building these rigs for you guys. So if you're interested in a more budget build, I will leave my video up here. Don't forget to sign up to Salad with my link down below, guys. And I will have both the budget parts list and the expensive parts list down below in the description in the pinned comment. Thanks for watching. And if you made it this far, I greatly appreciate it. Peace.